Hi, I'm Spenta. I'm a nature fan. I'm a gardener. I cultivate my own herbs and spices. I'm a Persian girl who happens to be living in the US. I live in USDA Zone 7, and today I'd like to cover some tips on growing indoor plants. Here are some plants that I will grow throughout the year, some that are seasonal and some that I will be transplanting outdoors, and plants that enjoy to be outdoors, however, cannot endure the cold winter, and some plants that I've started indoors, such as this amazing and delicious Yum Yum tomato. It is a sun sugar tomato. It will be an orange delicious tomato. They never tell you when the last day or the first day of frost is going to be around my area, so I just plant my stuff indoors. I start my tomatoes and eggplants and other plants such as peppers indoors, and I will later on transplant them outdoors when the danger of frost is over. Here you see some daffodils because I have planted some daffodils here and some hyacinth here and wheatgrass here. I have planted some paper white zivas, some yellow cheerfulness, and some red Devon daffodils this year for the Persian New Year. Daffodils are the national flower in Wales. They celebrate the beginning of the spring, and they have amazing, gorgeous celebrations in Wales. And also, they are celebrated by the Persians and set alongside the hyacinth on the Persian New Year's table known as the half scene, which has 7 different S's on it, and one of the S's are Sombol, which is actually how we say hyacinth. And daffodil is another flower that is added there. In a lot of places, daffodils are known as the flower that starts the beginning of spring and marks the beginning of spring. Therefore, daffodils are celebrated by many. Here, I'm growing some wheatgrass. I just placed the seeds here last night, and I have some decorative right here. It's a decorative paper wrapped around it. All I did is just, you can from your local craft store purchase water resistant paper. It's just wrapping paper that's water resistant. You can grab it from your local store, craft store, cut a sheet of square sheet out and just tape it around 4 corners like this, and it will form this particular thing, and it'll add some decoration to your plant. I will be adding this to my table so it'll look more decorative. It's green, and the colors of the Persian New Year are green and red. Let's go over some tips on growing successful plants indoors and plants outdoors. Here I have daffodils, which enjoy growing in regular potting soil. I have geraniums that also like to grow in regular potting soil. They enjoy having drainage, good drainage. They love the sun. Here I have my cyclamen. It also loves the sun. Every single plant I have here enjoys the sun. A good tip to you would be place all your plants where it can get maximum amount of sun. If you're growing your plants indoors, make sure you can get a room, set them in a room or a place that allows maximum sun exposure for your plants. Another tip is to make sure you have something that covers underneath your plants. Well, if you're watering your plants, keep in mind that the water does drain, and you want maximum, you want to be able to water your plants throughout the whole pot, not just one small section. Water the whole pot, and so you want there to be free flowing water in the bottom, and you don't want that over your window, and therefore this is a good item to have, a saucer. And also this is very good for plants that like to feed from the bottom. Some plants prefer water from the top, and some like it from the bottom. And there you go. There are your root plants, such as you have different plants such as succulents, and they require different type of watering and different kind of water consumption. Here is Amaryllis. I love growing Amaryllis. I highly recommend Amaryllis for everyone. Amaryllis is so pretty and it's so easy to care for. Amaryllis and cyclamen, easy to care for and good indoor plants for everyone. Amaryllis is nice. For more Amaryllis shares and tips on how to grow Amaryllis successfully, take a look at my other playlist. I have seasonal and perennial shares, and I have a lot for Amaryllis. Amaryllis is easy to care for as it needs minimal water. That's amazing. And it retains moisture. Right here, I have some Spanish moss over here by this Amaryllis plant that's actually covering. Right here, it's covering the soil, and this allows my plant to have a humid climate under there, and that is actually a very good thing because they like humidity. Plants that tend to be tropical love humidity. Actually, daffodils fall under the Amaryllis family. So there you go. I'm growing more Amaryllis every year because I take that daffodil and I transplant it outdoors into my gardens outdoors. That tomato right there, the delicious, delicious sun sugar tomato that's going to remain orange and not turn red, that's going to be one of my outdoor plants. These that are indoors, hyacinth will be planted outdoors. The gardenia, if you're wondering why there are some yellowish colors to my plants, however it's successfully giving blooms, is because plants, just like everyone else and everything else, like to be fed. Water and food for your plants, proper space for your plants, just like people. Plants are just like people. They need their own space, they need proper space, they need the sun, that's how they live, they need water, they also need the right moisture, therefore the right soil, and by the right soil I mean the right soil mixture. That's very important. This gardenia has been shocked by me feeding it. I fed Osmocote to all my plants and they're all doing really well, as you see. However, this one felt that I may have gave it a bit too much, or perhaps transplanting it a few days after feeding it, well, it needed to be transplanted. Either way, the best way to take care of it, since it's showing shocks of being fed, is to wash this plant a few times. What you want to do is just place it somewhere comfortable if you're indoors, or if you can take it outdoors, just take it outdoors and hose it down a few times. Just make sure the water goes through, and that'll make sure it evens it out in there for you. So that's a tip right there if you ever overfeed your plants. So you can still take care of that too. Plants love food, plants love sun, plants love space, and plants love the proper soil, and they have to grow in a sunny room. I cannot tell you enough how much sun is important for proper growth of plants. I'm going to keep my poinsettias indoors and my amaryllis indoors, gardenia indoor. The geraniums I will also keep indoors. I have some more that I'll be adding outdoors. My daffodils I'll take outdoors. My tomato I'll take outdoors. That's another poinsettia. I plan on keeping my cyclamen indoors, and the wheatgrass will go out, and so will the hyacinth. Make sure you have proper soil moisture, proper temperature, enough sun exposure, proper space, and your plants will do just fine if you feed them here and there. I'm Spenta, and I thank you for watching my share. Your comments, likes, and subscriptions are greatly appreciated.